Hi, everybody, and welcome to another round of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I am JB, and you can see him. I mean, the introduction take too long. I don't know, 14-time All-Star, 13-time Gold Glove winner, World Series champion. He's the man. He's Ivan Rodriguez. Pudge is with us. Pudge, how you doing, bud?
Good. How are you? Good to having me.
I'm very excited. I'm glad you're here with us. Fans are fired up. Fans, if you don't know how this works, let me explain it to you real quick, and then we'll get to questions. Get your device fired up. Ask questions directly to Pudge. Then I'll just watch and enjoy the show. Meanwhile, use the MLB Fans app to get your question in via comments and or use Twitter. The hashtag is ChattingCage, and I'll read that when we get to it. I'll read it just about like this. This is from at Pudge_fan_Tex. It's a good question because it summarizes the season. So, Pudge, what grade would you give the Rangers season as a whole despite the October ending early?
Well, it's to be honest with you, it was a hard news, shocking for us as an organization. The way they end out the season, knowing that we finished with the best record in the American League and not have the chance to win one game in the playoff. But that's what playoff is all about. Anything can happen in the playoff. Think to me, Toronto plays better than the Rangers. Offensively, pitching and defensively play better. I think we came out, ready. But I think the first game and the second game we came out and play a little flat, and that's why when that happens in the playoff, you're gonna end up losing ball games. But it's hard to believe that the Cole Hamels and give up 3 home runs, Yu Darvish give up 4. Two of the best pitchers in the game, and the 2 aces that we have in the pitching staff not able to do the job, and just kind of shocking for us because everybody everybody in the media knows that the Ranger was one of the potential teams to win the World Series, but it didn't happen.
There you have it, folks. That's Pudge assessing how things went for the Rangers in October. Folks, don't miss this opportunity. He's only got a few minutes to spend the day with us. Get your devices fired up like this fan right here. What's your name, young man? What's your question for Pudge?
Hi, my name is Mauricio Palmer from Arnold, Maryland, and I'm a big Nationals fan. I just say that because I know you spent your last 2 seasons of your career with the Nationals. So, anyway, I would like to ask you, who is the toughest pitcher that you've had to catch?
The toughest pitcher, I think they're all very tough. I think, the more that you communicate and the more that you talk to the pitcher, the easier the job is going to be. But I think, guys, Kevin Brown, back in the days, probably you haven't born when I was when I was catching Kevin Brown. But I can tell you the reason why Kevin Brown was so tough, because Kevin has a very hard sinker that breaks a lot, kind of like a break like a lefty from a slider from a left-hander. And sometimes you need to make sure and you put your body in the right position to catch those kind of pitches, because he's coming this way. And when you catch it, if you catch it wrong, the ball is going to end up hitting in this finger right here, and that's very painful. But I always has a great communication and great chemistry with all the pitchers. So I think I get along well with the pitchers. But that is a great question.
An excellent question from Mauricio, and Pudge letting you know that sinker from Kevin Brown. Kids, you got MLB.com. You can find some footage of Kevin Brown. You'll see what he's talking about. This is another fan with us. What's your name? What's your question for Pudge?
Hi, I'm Ben from New York. My question is, when you were flying in between the time zones, did it ever affect how you played?
Well, yeah, that's another good one. Of course, it's tough, especially when we play a night game. That we travel after the game. Sometimes when we come in from the west to the east, the time change is worse than coming from the east to the west, because we gain some hours coming down to the west. But when you coming back to the east, like especially home, you get home sometimes at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and you play, at 7 o'clock the next day. But yeah, I mean, just to answer your question, is not an easy thing to do, but that's part of our job. Our job is just to be ready in any circumstances, to be ready to play at 7:05. and just not think about it. But during the season, when we do this, a lot you get tendency to get tired. But that's part of the job, and that's part of what we do. We get used to, and we got to do it. We got to do it. No matter what, we got to do it. And no matter what, we got to be ready at 7:05.
One of the great parts of the season, seeing all those teams play. Two great questions from fans so far. So I'm going to get to the EDJ question of the day before they steal it from me. Pudge, which current Major League catcher do you enjoy watching the most, and why?
Tell you what, I like Salvador Perez. He's a big framer guy. Block the ball good throwing catcher. Yadiel Molina, obviously, best in the game. Been there for 13 years, and we all know what Yadiel Molina has been doing for 13 years in the big leagues. Working, playing for the Cardinals, and but again, I've been asked this question many times, but I think to me, every catcher they're in Major League Baseball, they're very good to me, and I respect all of them because they're all big leaguers. It's not somebody is a catcher to play for a last place team, or a first place team. I think I all respect them because if he's there, it's because it's the reason for him to be there. Either a good hitter, good blocking, throwing the ball good, but there's others that goes above than some other players. But I have to say then Salvador Perez, Posey, Yadier Molina, to me those are my favorite. And even though Perez now from the Indians, he's doing a great job, catching in the playoff. He's doing a great job offensively and defensively. And there's so many good ones, so I respect all of them.
A great answer there. That's it, boy. To go through that list, Salvi and Javi and Posey and then Perez again. Those are great pitchers. But I mean, catchers, great. Well said. If you're a major league catcher, you've earned that position. That's it's a place to be proud of and something to show some respect. That's Ivan Rodriguez. I'm JB. This is a fan. What's your name? What's your question for Pudge?
Christian Rodriguez from Miami. I want to ask you, did you ever, when you were little, did you have to switch your swing to get the right mechanics?
Well, yes. Sometimes you have to make adjustment, and believe me, I make adjustment doing the at bat. Sometimes as a player, as a major league player, you sometimes you have to make adjustment doing the at bat. I wasn't a player to change my batting stance, but I was changing my approach doing the at bat. Kind of like. I never look for a pitch, in some areas, and I never look for any fastball, or curve, or changeup. I always recommend to the young kids that are learning today, they just look for the ball. You just see the ball, and if the ball is right there, just wait until the ball gets to you. You make sure you let the ball travel all the way into the hitting zone, because I think if you wait into the ball, you get to the hitting zone, you're gonna have you have more chance to track that baseball into the compact zone. And I think to me that is what I teach all the time. I know there's a lot of players that might gonna tell you, when I was a hitter, I look for fastball, I look for breaking ball, I look for changeup. But me as a hitter, I was very successful just seeing the ball. And don't look for anything. Just be ready for the fastball, adjust the breaking ball, adjust the off-speed pitches, but I trying to let the ball travel all the way into the hitting zone. That was the hitter that I was when I was a player.
Phenomenal question from Chris. Thanks, because that gave us that insight into Pudge Rodriguez and how he hits. And kids, take notes. Put this one in the archive. You're not going to want to miss out on that. This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I'm JB. That's Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. We go to the MLB Fans app now for a social media question while devices get fired up. You did a great many things in your career, Pudge, but at the end of the day, what do you hope to be remembered for? That's from MWEG517.
I think, the person that I was as a player, the fineness as a player that I was, play the game hard, respect the game, respect the uniform that I wear, for so many years, and just do the best, do my best day in and day out. I think that was to me what I can tell you about it. To me is I love the game. I respect the game. I still love the game of baseball today, even though that I'm not a player. But I work in baseball. I work for the Rangers, and I work on TV doing pre and post game. But baseball is going to be my blood for the rest of my life, and I think it's something that I love the people to remember. Just how serious and how much I respect this game.
Eloquently said, excellently said. Thank you for that answer to that question. And Mweg, thank you for the question on the Fans app. That's how it works, folks. Get your question in. Either fire up your device and join us, or hashtag chatting cage, or join us via a device like this, fan. What's your name? What's your question for Pudge?
Hola, Iván. Yo soy Jacobo. Yo soy colombiano, pero vivo en San Francisco. ¿Qué tal, parcero?
¿Cómo estás?
Primero quería preguntarte, ¿cómo está? Mucho gusto. Primero quería preguntarte, yo soy amigo de Orlando Cepeda aquí. ¿Y qué piensas de cómo Puerto Rico, estar puertorriqueño, crecer ahí, jugar béisbol? Y segundo, la selección Colombia va a ser el primer mundial de béisbol. ¿Qué piensas de eso? ¿Qué piensas de Dicen Herrera y Julio Teherán? No, mucho gusto. I'll say it in English too. What do you think of the Colombian baseball making the World Baseball Classic and growing up in Puerto Rico? Muchísimas gracias, parcero.
Bueno, para mí es un orgullo de hablar en español, hablarte en español, porque ¿por qué no tenemos que hablar español? Why not speak in Spanish? Obviously, we have to speak Spanish somehow. And if you ask me a question in Spanish, I'm going to answer that in Spanish to you, if it's okay.
Sure. I love the question in Spanish and then the answer in Spanish both ways, and then answer in English as well, so we can all join in. That'd be great.
Primero que nada, los felicito de Colombia entrar al Clásico Mundial. Se lo merecen, han trabajado duro para eso. Tienen un buen equipo, los muchachos, Julio Terán, Quintana, todos los muchachos, yo creo que están listos para ese sueño que es estar en el Clásico Mundial. I'm saying that, first of all, I want to congratulate Colombia to make the World Baseball Classic this year. I think Julio Teran and Quintana, they're ready to go and participate and be part of this great dream, just to represent your country and wear the colors of your country in baseball. And I think that is that's going to be good. It's going to be great. Puerto Rico is doing great. Puerto Rico is growing. The talent in Puerto Rico is growing big time. Y le deseo lo mejor a ustedes, que echen hacia adelante. Les deseo lo mejor. Y ustedes tienen buen talento, y el talento que tienen en Colombia, que yo lo he visto. Yo he ido allá a Colombia y he visto el talento que hay. Yo creo que siendo ustedes ir al Clásico Mundial, yo creo que le va a abrir la puerta mucho más a todos ustedes, a todos los colombianos, para venir aquí a los Estados Unidos a jugar. What I'm saying is then I'm wishing the best in the World Baseball Classic as the Colombian thing, and my wife is Colombian, so I go to Colombia every year. My wife's from Medellin, and I visit a lot, Barranquilla, Cincelejo, from Cincelejo, Barranquilla, Cartagena, all this the coast of Colombia, and the talent is there. I think Colombia team makes make the World Baseball Classic. I think they're going to open the door even more to these young talented players that are in Colombia to come to the States and become a professional baseball players.
Outstanding, and it is an exciting time to see baseball grow in countries like Colombia, and obviously in Puerto Rico it's still strong and going well. Well, Pudge, I know you got a lot going on today. Did you have a good time hanging out with some fans?
Doing great, doing a good time. Great questions, by the way.
They really did. They stepped up. I got to say, it was impressive to see them bring it to it. I always enjoy that.
Yeah.
I want to thank Ivan Pudge Rodriguez for being with us. Thanks, Pudge.
Thank you very much.
And fans, as always, I want to thank you for joining us here at the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. We'll see you in the next round
Thank
here
you.
in the postseason.